Hello! This will be a tutorial for using Calibre and FanFicFare with AO3 fix, for people who are a little less technically inclined. Here's a disclaimer. If you use this tutorial for anything regarding AI scraping, I'm gonna have your head. So please don't. No one consented to that. Fuck off, AI bros. Also, apologies if you hear my air conditioning or my cat. She's on my lap right now, and it's really hot where I am. You're gonna want to go to this webpage, which I'll link in the description. It's the download page for Calibre. God, I should have written a script for this. I'm not feeling good today. There's 3 different operating systems that Calibre works like natively on. Windows, Mac, and Linux. And the portable option is also for Windows. And you might see these Android and iOS options down here, but these are for like apps that connect to a Calibre install on your main PC. So we don't need to worry about these, because you can't have them without one of the top ones. I'm going to choose portable for this, because I'm installing to a USB, just to, so I can have a new install easily. You're gonna want to download whichever version of Calibre is good for your operating system, and if you have Windows, you can choose the regular version or the portable version. So I'm going to choose the portable version. Okay, after a ton of installation time, closing a bunch of stuff to make it so it installs faster, and then my cat sneezing on me and then leaving, we are back. Once it's done, it's going to ask you if you want to launch Calibre. Choose yes. Then choose your language. There's a ton of different languages. On this part, you can just choose just generic and then just like smartphone. But if you have like an ebook reader, you can honestly choose, or hell, if you have like a Android phone, you can choose, or like an Apple phone, you can choose whichever phone you have, or you can just choose generic smartphone. Then you're basically done with the install of Calibre itself. It might take a while on this first load. What we're going to want to do next is Preferences, Plugins. Choose Get New Plugins. Type in FanFicFare. Install. It'll say that it's a security risk, but FanFicFare is pretty reliable. It's open source, and we know who the creator is, and tons of people use it, so yeah, it's perfectly safe. So you're going to choose to install it. Then you're gonna leave all of this the same unless you know what you're doing, and then you're gonna restart Calibre. Okay? So then what we're gonna do next is set up the settings. Choose the little arrow next to FanFicFare and choose Configure FanFicFare. You can change whatever settings you want, obviously as long as you know what you're doing. But some settings that you might particularly want to mess with, if you go into personal.ini, choose Edit personal.ini, and then scroll down. They might have removed it by default, but you can paste in an option to like put in your AO3 username and password. I'm not gonna do that on screen because I don't want people seeing my username and password or having to edit it out, like censor it. But just know it's an option if you want to like download like locked fix. There's an is adult option that you can uncomment if you wanted to just automatically accept things as adult. Another option you can mess with, go into Preferences, add your own columns, and then see these filters on the side. These let you add more filters for like specific things. So say I want to add like characters. Choose what kind of column you want it to be. Generally choose comma separated text, and then you're gonna notice it says down here that you have to restart Calibre again if you add columns. So maybe we should have done this earlier, but like, so yeah, you can add like a characters column or series column or like a fandom column, whatever you want. So I guess that has to be lowercase, yeah. And then we're gonna restart Calibre because it wants us to. Once you've made the custom column and restarted Calibre, you're gonna want to go into Configure FanFicFare again, choose Custom Columns, and it'll show your custom column you just made, and you're going to want to choose what you want to map it to. These are all the things that FanFicFare will pick up from like downloads. We made a characters column, so we're going to choose characters. Just so you know, category is basically fandoms on AO3, and we're going to choose OK, and there we go. So it's empty right now because we haven't downloaded any fix, and there's just a start guide that does not have any characters, obviously. But next we're gonna need to get some fix. So you're gonna open AO3 and go to the fandom you want, or whatever tag you want, actually. It doesn't even have to be a fandom, it can be like doomed relationship or whatever. I think you might even be able to go like into a like collection or like a bookmarks page and do this, but I'm not entirely certain. You're gonna want to go to a page, but then let's say you don't want certain fics getting downloaded. Let's say I don't feel comfortable having explicit Warrior Cats fics. You just go down to exclude and filter it out like you usually would using the filter options. Choose sort and filter, and you'll see that the URL up here changed a whole bunch. So there's no more explicit fics down here. So we're going to take the full URL and copy paste it. Choose the arrow next to FanFicFare. Choose get story URLs from web page. And it'll be there automatically if it's in your clipboard. And we're going to choose it for individual books. It might lag a little bit. At least it does on my computer. And then it'll show you all the fics that were on that page. There's a catch though. See these pages here? It only gets like one of these pages. If you want to get like a whole tag or whole fandom, you have to go through each page and repeat this process over and over again. And if you want, you can choose show download options, and you can choose custom advanced options. Personally, I'd leave this all as default. It works for me. You're gonna choose OK. And then it's gonna fetch metadata. So basically it's gonna download all the information for each fic. This might take a while, and you can't do anything else during this part. And yeah, it might say that it's not responding sometimes, but you have to be patient with it. Unless it, like, completely freezes. Okay, so now it's doing jobs, which means it's downloading something, or, like, doing some other work that takes a while. And during this part, you can actually do other stuff while in Calibre. But for now, we're just gonna wait for it to go. So hopefully this goes fairly quickly. Okay, so as you can see, it said FanFicFare found 20 good and 0 bad updates. These numbers might vary for other searches. Basically, good and bad doesn't necessarily mean actual good and bad. Good updates mean that it can update and it's good to go. It can go get the updates for something, and that it did find stuff that's new that it can add. Bad updates means that either it couldn't find the fic anymore, or there was an error, or you already have the latest version of the fic and it doesn't need to do anything. It doesn't necessarily be anything bad if you have bad updates, just that the fic hasn't been updated or like it can't find it or something. You can choose view log here, and it'll show you the info about all of these fics. You don't have to check logs, especially if there's no bad updates, because usually the log is here so if it does say there's a bad update, so you can see what things it had problems with. I'm just going to choose yes to proceed to update your library. Okay, this took like 30 minutes because of my crappy little USB drive I'm doing this on, but it's finally done. See that there's tags on here, and we got our characters section too. And if you go over here, you'll see that it like sorts the series. It sorts, well, there's only English fics, but it sorts the languages, it sorts the authors, formats. Oh, and it marks AO3 fics as being from AO3, and other fanfic sites as well. There's the tags, there's identifiers, which are the URLs basically, and all the characters under their own section, because we made a custom column for that. Let's say you just see a fic that you don't want, just because you don't feel like you're going to read them. You just right click on it and choose remove selected books. And it'll give you a warning, but you just, if you really are sure, you just choose yes. And it might take a minute, because this is on a crappy USB. And it's gone. I'm going to show you some other things you can do. Let's say you want to like sort things yourself, not automatically. Let's go make another custom column. Choose preferences, add your own columns, add another custom column. We're going to choose whatever fic we want to edit. We're going to choose either edit metadata individually, or if you've selected multiple at once and want to make the same changes on all of them at once, you can choose edit metadata in bulk. We click over to custom metadata, and let's say we want to mark it as a Warrior Cats fanfic, but also indicate that it's a ClanGen fanfic, and also indicate that ClanGen is like a subset of Warrior Cats. What we can do is we can type in Warrior Cats, and then we can put dot, and then ClanGen, and that should work. Because the dot, what it does is, I'll show you in a second, if you put a dot in any of these names, oh, maybe I have to, okay, there we go. So yeah, if you want to do what I was trying to show, you have to go into look and feel, you have to go into tag browser, hierarchy and searching, then check next to your custom columns. And then it should let you put a dot in between different words, and it'll make subcategories. So now we got a ClanGen subcategory. And we can also choose the rest of these, and choose edit metadata in bulk, custom metadata for your cats without typing in ClanGen. There, and what you can do now is you can click ClanGen and just see the ClanGen fix, or you can click warrior cats, and by default it'll show only the warrior cats fix, not any of the subcategories, but if you click it again, it'll show everything, and if you click it again after that, it'll remove stuff. Yeah, you get the idea. This removes everything, including the subcategories. One last thing. What if you want to update your fix that you already have? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to select all of your fix, or all of the fix you want to check for updates for. Select all of them. Click the big FanFicFare button with the picture on it. Then it'll give you an option to update existing list. And you're just going to choose OK. But obviously here, since these are all brand new fix, it's probably not going to have anything like to add to them. But once it does, you can basically just click OK on everything, and it should update fix. And I think that's everything I wanted to show off in this video for now.